warm welcome now to one of our longtime guests, Kristin Smith, president of the Solana Policy Institute. Kristin, how are you today?
I'm very cold, Janet. It's cold here in Washington, but otherwise doing well. It's been a really big week for crypto policy here in D.C.
It has been. It's freezing here in Philly, just a couple hours north of you too, and I think it's going to stay that way for a couple of weeks, but it's not frozen on the crypto front, as you said. Talk to us about the movement we've been seeing on market structure legislation.
Yes, so market structure legislation, this is the second big crypto bill that is needed to provide regulatory clarity. Had a big milestone this week. As you recall, this bill passed through the House earlier in the year, and it's now in the Senate's court to move the legislation. There are two committees of jurisdiction in the Senate, and one of those committees, the Senate Agriculture Committee, held a committee meeting to mark up the legislation. The legislation did pass. It was a partisan vote, but with all the Republicans voting in favor of it, but there were several Democrats that expressed interest in continuing to work with their Republican colleagues and get this done right. And so the next step is that the Senate Banking Committee needs to move their portion of the bill, and then at that point, those two bills will be combined and hopefully go to the floor for a full vote soon. So big progress and really important as we try to get the regulatory clarity for the crypto industry here in Washington, D.C.
There was also a big event on harmonization and U.S. financial leadership hosted by the SEC and the CFTC, which I was very happy to see them actually working together for this harmonization process. Talk to us about it, because it seems like it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, no, well, this was I know as we've discussed, Chairman Seelig at the CFTC was just recently confirmed a couple months ago, right before the end of the year. So the CFTC finally has full-time leadership. And prior to taking this job, Chairman Seelig had actually been over at the SEC working under Chair Atkins. So they are incredibly close. And they held a fantastic event yesterday at the CFTC. And what they did is they announced that the SEC had previously had this Project Crypto. It's an effort to use the authority they have to provide more clarity for the crypto industry and market participants. And what they have done is they have now expanded the SEC's Project Crypto to be a joint effort by the SEC and the CFTC. So, the two market regulators are different agencies. They have different statutes. But a lot of the participants in the marketplace are impacted by both agencies. So they are going to work more closely together. They're going to try to figure out how to, get rid of any duplicative requirements and make it easier for those who are regulated to do so in a more efficient way that provides all the protections that we want in our market. So it was great to be at this event. For many, many years, I've been in Washington for 25 years. These agencies often have been very competitive, and there have been turf wars with each other. So this is a very welcome sort of collaborative change of pace, and we're very excited to see the work that will hopefully come out of these two agencies in the months ahead.
We're speaking with Kristin Smith, president of the Solana Policy Institute. We've been talking about recent developments with the SEC, CFTC, and movements on crypto legislation. We've spoken before about the opportunity the Treasury Department has to update crypto tax policy, even as Congress continues to work through market structure. What's the latest on that?
Well, this is another effort that is ongoing. There has been some guidance over time out of the IRS on how to treat different parts of the crypto ecosystem. Some of these assets are unlike anything we've seen before, so they require some novel interpretation. This work is ongoing. We see both the IRS is interested and engaged in these issues, and also the tax writing committees in Congress. We've had a couple of members on the House Ways and Means Committee, which is tasked with crafting tax legislation, have said that they want to work on standalone crypto legislation. And so I think this is, really exciting to see their interest and this development. Because, if you look at something, for example, like Solana and the Solana network, one of the ways that network is secured is through a process called staking. And staking, somebody who wants to help secure the network lends their Solana, and in return, new Solana is created and returned to the user. This is very different than a traditional dividend or other type of financial product. And so, we need to figure out how to appropriately treat the taxation of those rewards. And so that's just an example of one of the types of things we need Congress and the IRS to do. But the good news is they are very interested, and I think that we're going to see more progress on the issue in the weeks and months ahead.
Just curious how the IRS is handling staking now. What's the guidance from them?
That's a good question. So the way it's treated now is the way that they do it for mining. And this seems to be a little bit off because newly created tokens should probably be taxed as new property when it is sold, not at the time it's created. And this would be in line with the way perhaps if you were to mine gold or something like that, you would not do that immediately upon finding that gold. It would be at the point that you sell it. And so the current guidance creates treats these rewards as phantom income, and so they're have to basically essentially pay taxes on these unrealized gains. And so with these networks, we want to incentivize that people keep their tokens staked so that the network is more secure, and this sort of messes with that incentive.
We're speaking with Kristin Smith. She's president of the Solana Policy Institute, and last week you guys at the SPI wrote a letter in support of a developer named Roman Storm. Tell us about his case. What's going on there?
Yeah, so Roman's case represents sort of what we perceive to be as a big threat to software developers in the U.S. right now. And this case is sort of a test as to whether the U.S. will protect builders' privacy and free expression, or if they won't. And if you think about it, software developers, these are often individuals or sometimes they're teams of individuals. They publish open source code. And what we have here is Roman Storm is being punished for the actions of something someone else did with his code. And so it's sort of like blaming the car manufacturer if a bank robber drives their car to the bank to go rob the bank. We want the criminal to be accountable for the crime, not the person that created the technology that was used in the crime. And so, these software tools, these are not financial intermediaries. They should not have to have the same sort of obligations that somebody who owns custody has. And so what we need is to have, and this is part of the market structure legislation, is we need to have some protections for these software developers because they are sort of the heart, they're the creators of this new technology. And, we want to make sure that we have the right accountability, but we need to make sure that we're protecting, the folks that are building the tools that are enabling the upgrade of our financial system.
Kristin, thank you so much for joining us today. Is there anything else going on in the world of the Solana Policy Institute that we haven't had a chance to talk about?
Yeah, no, listen, I think a lot of what we do here in Washington is talk to people about Solana and the Solana network. And I think that, the crypto industry in DC has become incredibly sophisticated over time, and we're seeing a lot of progress on the legislative front, on the tax front, on the regulatory front. And, that comes from understanding the different parts of the crypto ecosystem, whether that be understanding Bitcoin, understanding layer one blockchains like Solana, understanding what a crypto exchange does, understanding what DeFi is. There are a lot of different components that policymakers are grappling with right now. And so we spend a lot of our time on the ground educating those who are making decisions about the policy that will, that is going to be put in place in the next months and years ahead.
Thank you again for joining us, Kristin. Remind us where we can follow you.
Yes, actually, I have a new Twitter handle. It is at Kristin Smith. That's Kristin with an I. And you can learn more about the Solana Policy Institute at solanapolicyinstitute.org.
And that's Kristin Smith, president of the Solana Policy Institute.